Hello and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. Today in my holiday Hoopla extravaganza, I'm going to be testing out a new collection from Besame Cosmetics. I am a huge Disney fan. I love everything Disney. I love it, I love it, I love it. Most people know I spent basically my entire summer in Disneyland this last year, and so I was really excited to see that Besame was going to be teaming up with Disney to come out with the Peter Pan Mermaid Lagoon collection. So in this collection, it is based on the 1953 original Disney Peter Pan film, and so they have a eyeshadow palette, they have this really great bronzer, they have a setting powder, as well as a number of lipsticks. One of the things that Besame does so well is really to bring this nostalgic vintage feel to any collection, and this is no exception. The packaging and the theming of this collection is beautiful. If you are a fan of anything Disney, Peter Pan, just love cute, adorable, collectible makeup, this is for you. So I am really excited. This is my first time trying out anything from Besame Cosmetics. So if you want to see how I got this look, my thoughts about the collection, all that fun stuff, then keep on watching. Alrighty, well, let's get started. So obviously I am here barefaced, so I want to start with my eyeshadow. So I think it's time to go into the Treasures of the Mermaid Lagoon eyeshadow palette. Now, just take a second to appreciate the beauty of this packaging. So this is really cool. This is a drawing that shows where all of the colors from the eyeshadow palette actually came. So all of the colors in the eyeshadow palette are based on the actual paints that the animators used when creating the mermaids from Peter Pan. So in here you can kind of see that the color Bamboo is this, like the little hair tie. This orange, Tile 105, is from her hair. So I think that's really cool that they actually show you where they got all of the colors. So this is the actual packaging of the palette. It does feel very sturdy. It's this really nice, it's a plastic with this gold metallic on the bottom, and then on the front, kind of embossed, it's slightly raised. We have all of the mermaids lying around in the lagoon. It says Mermaid Lagoon on the front, and it's, so you open it up. Oops, the little brush is coming out. So it does come with a little brush. This is a synthetic hair brush that it's really tiny. I mean, I don't know about this. It's such a tiny little brush, but it could be really good for like kind of putting some shadow underneath the lash line or something. I don't know. It could be really good. So here's the inside of the shadow palette. So we have 4 matte shades as well as 4 shimmer shades. But for me, I'm having a little bit of a conundrum. I'm not quite sure what to do with my eyeshadow look when looking at these colors. Yeah, because there's 3 of the shimmer shades are blues and greens. There's the shade that looks white. The shade name is white, but when you actually swatch it, it is an iridescent like blue color, which is very pretty. I think I'll definitely have to use this on the inner corner. It's like this kind of iridescent blue purple shade. So that one's really pretty, but then these others, I mean, we have 2 greens. We have a lighter green and a darker green, which makes sense. These are from, you know, the tails of the mermaids. But then when you get to this half of the palette, this is a very warm toned palette. I mean, it really feels like the palette is just divided in half. I mean, it's like the cool tone shimmers and the warm tone mattes. And I'm just kind of like at a loss of what to do with these colors to kind of make like a cohesive looking eyeshadow look with it. But I guess let's just get started, and I guess I'm just gonna have to wing it and see. Let's hope that it works right. I wish I had a little pixie dust to like sprinkle on this eyeshadow palette and make sure that everything, my eyeshadow comes out perfectly. I don't know, does pixie dust fix eyeshadow? I don't know. Okay, well, let's zoom in and get started with the eyeshadow. Alrighty, so as with most eyeshadow looks, I'm going to go ahead and start by priming my eyelids using my MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. So now that my lids are nice and primed, okay, I don't know what to do. I was like, now that my lids are primed, I still don't know what to do. So I think I'm going to start by going in with the orange shade in the palette. That is the color Tile 106. So I'm taking this on a kind of fluffy blending brush. This is my Morphe 573. And I'm going to just start by placing this in the crease and on the brow bone of my eye, just to start creating the shape that I want to do with my eyeshadow today. And then without picking up any new shadow, I'm going to just start blending out the edges. Okay, so now I have the shape down that I kind of like. I'm going to go in with a smaller blending brush. This is the Morphe 513. It's pointed, and I'm going to go into the yellow shade. That is called Bamboo 108. And I'm going to basically kind of just use this to blend out kind of the edges of this orange shade that I initially put down. I don't know how pigmented this yellow is going to be. Yeah, not really that pigmented, so that's okay. It is coming off kind of light. So these mattes are actually blending really, really nicely. It's not taking a ton of effort to try to blend everything out. The only thing is that I feel like the color payoff is not really initially there, but you can get it there within maybe 2 or 3 layers of application. So it's not so bad. Some people really prefer an eyeshadow that requires a bit of work to build it up rather than having one that's so pigmented right off the bat that it is kind of easy to get into trouble. That's not bad. That really is actually quite pretty. I like that. I liked it a lot. So I am going to take this kind of dusty rose, I think they call it a plum, is how they described it on the website. That is color RX20, and I'm going to take this on a fairly new and still not and not really like bent out of shape Morphe 433 that has a very fine kind of flat edge, and I'm going to keep this color right there on the end of my brush and start stamping this directly into the crease to kind of start darkening everything up. Okay, so this is actually working. I was a little bit worried about this shade. Of all of the mattes, this one really swatched quite poorly. It did not have a lot of color payoff. It was very streaky and patchy, so I was worried about what it would actually do on the eye, but it looks like it's performing and blending out nicely. Alright, so now we have that nice and blended. I think it's time to go into some of the shimmers. I don't know, they swatched really well, but I think I'm still, just to be safe, going to go in with a glitter glue. Here's my little Alamar Cosmetics rounded flat brush, and I'm going to take my Too Faced glitter glue. I am going to use the glitter glue on a brush just to make sure that I don't get out of control, because I really, really want to be precise and careful, since you can kind of see where I've left this little bit of like space in the center of my eye. That's the only place I want to put this shadow. I'm going to start by doing a swipe right down the middle of my eye, and then from there I can kind of spread the glue out. Alright, now I got the glitter glue on. I have to decide which shimmer. I think I either want to do this like lighter green or this really cool kind of aqua blue. I think I want to do blue. Even though I didn't, I was like, oh, I don't want to do the blue and the orange, but I think I'm going to do the blue. I'm going to just press that on. Actually, I'm going to do a little bit of the green right in the middle too. Oh, that works. That like actually blends really nicely together. Those look pretty. So I'm going to take the brush that came in the palette and I'm going to wet it with a little bit of Fix Plus. And then I'm going to go back into that blue shade. So the blue shade is XBG3 and the green shade is GR5. And I'm going to be very, very careful just to make sure that I keep this in the middle of the eye. Okay. There we go. It's not perfect. It's definitely not perfect. But it is not too shabby. So now I'm going to take an even smaller pointed brush and I'm going to go back into that purple shade and just make sure that the outer corner as well as the crease is like well defined. All right, so there we have it. It's okay. It's not my favorite eye look that I've ever done, but I don't think it's bad. I kind of like it. It's pretty. It's pretty. So I'm gonna go finish up the rest of my face, do my other eye, kind of put on some like liner and mascara, and I will be back to test out the rest of this collection. In the meantime, let's take a look at some swatches. The special edition palette from our 1953 collection draws all of its colors and designs directly from the ink and paint cells of Mermaid Lagoon. These luxurious shadows provide an exciting array of choices and looks that draw inspiration from the tranquil and carefree ambience of the lagoon. We have Tile 106, a warm burnt orange matte shadow. Then we have XR20, a deep eggplant purple shadow. Now this one was one of the ones I had the most trouble swatching. It was a little bit patchy. And then we have Bamboo 105, a bright sunshine yellow matte shadow, and Beat 106, a dusty rose pink matte shadow. And then with the shimmers, we have OG 11, a cool dark green shimmery shadow, XBG 3, a fun aqua blue shimmery shadow, GR5, a light teal green shimmer shadow, and white, a holographic powder that shifts blue and pink. Alright, so I am now back, and I actually did not finish up the rest of my makeup because I realized the next product I have to try out is not a highlighter like I thought it was. So this is the Pearl Shimmer Powder. So when I purchased this online, and when I just kind of read the name, Pearl Shimmer Powder, I assumed that was what they called highlighters. I mean, the word shimmer really makes me think of a highlighter. But this is actually not a highlighting powder and is in fact a setting powder instead. So on the Besame website, they actually describe this powder as the Mermaid Lagoon Pearl Shimmer Shell Powder. Try saying that like 5 times fast. Not only sets your makeup, but also creates a refined and polished finish to correct the tiniest complexion flaws. It is a translucent powder that has a subtle texture that shimmers like the pearls in a lagoon. The shell, designed exclusively by Besame based on Disney concept art, is an authentic 3D replica of the mermaid shells seen in the film. So that's kind of cool. And this is a setting powder. It's supposed to be translucent. I really thought it was a highlighter, but now I know better. So that's the reason I have done my foundation and I've done my concealer, but I have not set my face or done any other powders. It's definitely not a highlighter. It feels very smooth and very soft. It just looks so white in the pan. I'm a little bit scared, but they say it's supposed to be translucent. I mean, if I blend it into the back of my hand, it does look like it blends in. I'm just not sure if it's going to leave any kind of like white cast on my skin, but we're gonna go for it and just see what happens. Let me just quickly re-blend out my concealer to make sure there's no creasing. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this. Well, it's picking up quite a bit on the brush, and let's just try to set. So I'm a little bit worried, but I'm gonna take a big powder brush and just very lightly set the rest of my face. Let me feel. It did set it nicely. It does kind of have like a very silky sort of texture. But looking at my face, especially under my eyes where I kind of packed it on a little bit heavier, which is what I normally do. I like to pack on just a little bit. I don't bake that often just because I have such dry under eyes, but I do put a little bit more powder, and I go in with a smaller brush and really press the powder in under my eyes just to make sure that everything there is set, and around my nose and in my smile lines is where I usually set with a little extra powder. And I do feel like in those areas where I set my face more heavily, that my normal kind of routine, I do feel like this lightened that area. It kind of lightened my foundation. On my forehead, I noticed, I feel like I just look a little bit washed out. Even for me, who's someone who's kind of more of just a medium skin tone, this I don't think would really work for other complexions. If you're my skin tone, definitely if you're darker than my skin tone, I don't know if this is going to be your best friend. I think I can work with this, I can get away with it, but if you are any darker than I am, this is not going to work for you. Which is so bad because it is so pretty, and like, look at that, it's just so cute. I just wish this was a highlighter because I feel like a highlighter could have been a little bit more universal, but when you're going to come out with this kind of like finishing powder that's not truly translucent, you can't come out with just one shade. Like, I'm sorry, it's just, one shade does not fit all. Yeah, this is not my favorite thing. Okay, well, let's move on to something a little more fun. While I was doing my other eyeshadow, I actually ended up changing the shape of the blue shadow in my eye. I just didn't like how I had the halo eye looking on this side. It wasn't completely round, and I should have just gone for a full cut crease, but I didn't, and then this side I couldn't get it to match. So I kind of just decided to like bring the blue shadow all the way into my inner corner to do kind of a half cut crease. So now that I have set my under eyes and done some concealer, let's go in and finish my eyeshadow look. So first of all, I'm going to go in with a flat definer brush, and I'm going to go back into this purple shade here and start stamping that onto my lower lash line, connecting it up to the eyeshadow on the top of my eye. On the top, kind of just continuing this line of my lower lash line out to just emphasize the shadowing that we've already kind of created. And then I'm going to go back in with the very small pointed shadow brush, taking a little bit more of that purple and just kind of blending everything together, making sure the lower lash line is connected to what I have going on the top. Finally, I'm going to go in with the very last matte shade that I haven't used, this bright pink. I'm taking this on a more pointed blending brush, really tapping off the excess and just kind of blending the lower lash line, smudging out that purple that we have going on there. All right, so for my actual factual last step, I kind of said the last step was the final step, but it's not. I'm going to go into I'm going to go into the white shade that is like the holographic, and I'm going to use this as my inner corner highlight. So this is kind of it's not holographic. It's an iridescent kind of blue shadow, so I'm not going to take that into my brow bone like I normally would, but I think it'll be a really pretty iridescent. Oh yeah, look at that inner corner highlight. I've now finished the rest of my eye look. I just put on a little bit of eyeliner and mascara, and it's time to move on to the next product in the collection. This is the Golden Sands Bronzer. The website describes this as a silky, soft, matte bronzer inspired by the expansive sands of Mermaid Lagoon. This milk chocolate powder can be used as a soft blush or contour on lighter skin tones and a blending powder for darker skin tones. So yeah, this is not, let's open this guy up. It's in the same kind of shell packaging as the setting powder, but this time it's this like really beautiful reflective gold. I really think it's just pretty. I did do a little swatch. It basically on the inside of my arm kind of looks like my skin tone, so I don't know if this is going to do anything at all. I don't know. I'm not sure. They say this could be a setting powder. No, a blending powder. What is a blending powder? What does a blending powder do for darker skin tones? I'm not sure what blending powder. What is that? I have my contour brush. This is a Morphe R10. It's a natural hair bristle. Ooh. Okay, let's try to pick this up. Okay, a fair bit is picking up on the brush, so that's a good sign. Let's see if anything will happen on my skin. Okay, there's a little bit. I actually do see it going on. It's blending out pretty nicely. It's a nice tone. It's coming off very neutral on the skin, not overly cool toned or like gray, not super warm or anything. It is very neutral, which is a nice shade for a bronzer. I'm trying to really build up the color, and at least in person, I feel like I am able to see the color built up. In camera, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure if you can. So let me just quickly finish up the rest. It took a lot of product to build up any kind of color in my face, and I think I am actually going to go in. This is just my normal bronzer brush. This has a little extra powder that I've used. I'm just going to go in and kind of try to blend that out, because it is a little bit, it goes on kind of patchy at first and doesn't really, it just kind of stays where you've put it. But since that other powder was so light, I don't really care that I went really heavy with this bronzer. All right, here we are. So I've now bronzed my face. I see that it did something. It does look a little bit just, you know, a little more contoured, a little more life brought back into my face. I don't know if this is not going to be probably my go-to everyday bronzer, but I feel like this could be a nice, more of like if it's a light makeup day or kind of a natural makeup day, it's not bad because I do enjoy the tone of this bronzer just because it is very neutral. It's not super cool, it's not super warm. So that's really nice. It is a bit light on me. So again, anyone darker than me, this is not going to work. This is not going to work for anyone my skin tone or darker. I don't know what a blending powder is supposed to be, but if you are darker, I guess use this as a blending powder. You could probably also use this on your eyes. These colors, I don't know. Oh my goodness. I just feel kind of conflicted about these. This is a definite no for me. I'm not going to be using this really again. It lightened my foundation. It made me look really light, and I don't really notice any kind of like pearlescent sheen to the skin. What I feel like is the downfall for this collection for both of these powders is that the packaging is beautiful, the whole collection is beautiful, but to only come out with one shade of these two complexion products is really not great. It just kind of detracts from the whole collection. I mean, just because all of the mermaids in Peter Pan were Caucasian doesn't mean all of the people buying this makeup in 2018 are also going to be all Caucasian. So we really need a little bit more diversity in the complexion products for this collection. Final thoughts on the eyeshadow palette really quickly. I do like it. I enjoy it. I am really, really liking the look that I came up with today, even though I was kind of like, oh, I'm going on a wing and a prayer, hoping for something to come out, and it does look really nice. But again, I just wish there was a little more variety in the color. If you actually look at like the ink and paint drawings, there's so many different colors that could have been used. Like, look, there's this really nice, there's a black, this mermaid has black hair. Their bodies, obviously, we talked about how they're Caucasian. A cream color would have been really fantastic in this look. What about some of these greens from Peter? Could we do some of those? That would have been really awesome to have like a green shade to kind of complement, a green matte shade to complement some of the green shimmer shades that we had. And also, like, what about this red? Like, any kind of red would have been really nice as well, just to kind of give it a little bit more versatility. Like, I would have liked to see maybe one less green shimmer shade, one green matte shade, a red shimmer shade, and then definitely a black and a cream. Would have made this palette very, very versatile. It would have made it great for traveling. You could have done like a full look, because I still feel like just looking at this, you're kind of limited in what you're going to do. Now that I have the rest of my face on and I feel like I look a little, I don't know, more lifelike, maybe. It's time to move on to the last three items in this collection. So the last three things that we have to try out are these three bullet lipsticks. Lipsticks. Okay. So in this collection, there are 3 different shades. The first one here is called Mermaid Kiss. The Besame website describes it as a sheer shimmer lipstick that is artfully designed to be either worn by itself or as a shimmer topper over your favorite Besame lipstick. The glossy pearl finish is long-lasting and infused with lip-loving ingredients. The next shade that we have is called Waterlily Blossom Red. This is described as a dreamy, pink-based medium-tone red lipstick that takes its color faithfully from the ink and paint used for the mermaids in Mermaid Lagoon. The satin-finished, highly pigmented color will look beautiful on any skin tone. And then last but certainly not least is the color Starfish Pink. So this is a muted pink lipstick that is the same shade used by the mermaids of Mermaid Lagoon. Elegantly invokes the beachside lifestyle of the 1950s. So this is the one I think I'm actually going to wear now. It's really kind of like a dusty rose pink. It looks really beautiful. So I'm gonna go in and try to apply this. I don't know if I love this shape of lipstick. It's kind of tricky for me personally, and it's even more tricky if I don't stop talking. Oh, wow. This is such a bright pink. I kind of didn't realize when they described it on the website as a muted pink. I really thought it would not be quite as bright. I'm gonna blot a little bit and then just clean up around the edges. It's a very soft formula for all of these lipsticks. So they kind of move around. You have a lot of like, sort of, ooh, see, look, I got some on my face. It's almost like a little bit slippy. It's like a slippery formula, so you want to be careful. It's definitely going to transfer, but it feels very comfortable on the lips. I do enjoy that. It's, like I said, it's not long wearing, but while it's on, it feels really nice. The color payoff and pigmentation is there. I think now I'm going to go in with a little bit of Mermaid's Kiss over top. No, I'm not going to put it directly on. I just can't. I can't bring myself to do that. So again, I'm going to warm up Mermaid's Kiss on the back of my hand and just tap this. Oh, that adds a really nice iridescent kind of finish. I do like that. On that note, I think this is where I'm going to end this review. I think definitely the standouts for the collection is really just the packaging. It's so, so beautiful. I love the theming. I love the fact that it's, 1950s themed. I love anything Disney, so obviously I'm going to love this. I love Peter Pan. It's one of my favorites. I really just feel like, oh, if I was in Disneyland, I would have done this review like waiting in line to go on the Peter Pan ride, since that line is always forever. But it's beautiful. I do really like it. I love the packaging on all of these guys. I think the standouts are really the lipsticks. They are a very nice formula. They're creamy. They're very comfortable to wear, and like the packaging is just to die for. If you love Disney, this is a great addition to your collection. So once again, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and playing with some of this new makeup. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already subscribed, be sure you do that. Ring that notification bell so you get notified every time that I upload a new video. I'm going to be here throughout the entire month of December trying out new makeup releases, holiday makeup tutorials. Lots and lots of fun things are coming, so you don't want to miss a single video. Have a wonderful day. I love you so much. Bye!